What do you do when you discover the most important data in your real estate business was deliberately altered and all of the market data you have been sharing with buyers and sellers is a lie that you knew nothing about and you had nothing to do with, and the people responsible for that data have known about it for almost a year and they still haven't fixed it?
This business, it's not such a ladylike business. I mean, there's lions and tigers and bears out there.
This is Fran Torsen, and we are going to take these one at a time. Real estate sales in large measure is a numbers game, and there are important statistics about real estate in the local multiple listing service. And when people mess with that data, these statistics are spoiled. In Miami, the #1 Coldwell banker sales team worldwide recently admitted in the local press they messed with that data. Luxury home statistics in Miami are ravished.
We have the best properties. We really, I think, control the luxury inventory.
Hundreds of millions of dollars of properties are reflected in that messed up data that is nuked, vaporized. In this video, we will take a look at two important data points that are fundamental to a view of the real estate market at any level. And we will explore 3 real-life case studies of data transgression in the Miami luxury market, where properties are elegant, but the data is not. Let's look at those data points. There is a sale-to-list ratio, and there is days on market. Here's how you calculate the sale-to-list ratio. Take the final price, what a buyer pays for the home, and divide that by the last list price and express that as a percentage. If a property is sold at the list price, the sale-to-list ratio is 100%. If it's sold for more than the list price, the sale-to-list ratio is more than 100%. If a property is sold for less than the list price, the sale-to-list ratio is less than 100%. For example, if a property is listed at $1 million and it's sold for $950,000, the sale-to-list ratio is 95%. Looking at sale-to-list percentages can help buyers and sellers get a sense of how to negotiate on pricing. Days on market is the time that elapses between the day a property is listed for sale and the day the property is sold and settled. If a property is listed by a real estate agent on June 1st and settles on October 31st, the days on market number is 154. Both of these numbers are fundamental to our case studies. Consumer advocates warn buyers and sellers to do a thorough market analysis before coming to decisions about price and offers, and analyzing those numbers is key to successful real estate. Let's look at our case studies now. Case study #1 applies the fake folio and area formula. The Jill's listings are evidence they use this formula often, and it wreaks all sorts of havoc with the multiple listing system. And it's almost guaranteed to snooker the unwary consumer. It's a very basic formula. Here's how it works. Take a new penthouse listing in Miami Beach, priced at $15.9 million. That listing remains on the market for 643 days before it expires. The day before the listing expires, the listing data is changed and the tax folio number is changed, unhooking that property from the tax record, and then the location is changed, sending the data to outlying Alapata. Every property in the MLS is assigned a unique folio number, and that number corresponds to a property tax record in the county government database. No two properties share the same folio number in that government database, but many properties share the same folio number in the Jill's listing database, and I'm going to show you that in a few moments. Back to case study #1. Now, the property is relisted at a drastically reduced price 1 day later, and it is sold for $8.5 million. And in the multiple listing service, it appears the property was on the market only 158 days. Stats on the no listing don't look too bad. 78% sale to list ratio and 158 days on market. When you look more closely, when you factor in the first listing, the one that is hidden with all sorts of data manipulation, things look a little different. When you compare the selling price to the original list price, you get a 53% sale to list ratio and a whopping 801 days on market. These are the real numbers uncovered by local whistleblower Kevin Tomlinson, who paid a hefty personal and professional price following his report about these findings to the Miami Association of Realtors. Case history number 2 is the cancellation and confusion caper. Let's see how this one works with an exquisite Surfside residence that was listed at $6,850,000. The recipe for this scheme is very similar to the expired fake folio formula, but instead of waiting for the property listing to expire, the data is corrupted, erasing 275 days on market from the property history, and then the listing is canceled, not expired. A couple of months later, the property comes back on the market with the same agents at a higher price. If you can't sell a property in almost a year at one price, we raise the price, right? Make it an even $6,900,000 this time. 3 months later, reduce the price $300,000. That looks like a pretty big price reduction, but it's really only about $150,000 higher than the price on the listing when it was canceled. A couple of months later, the property closes at $5.9 million. You have to wonder if a buyer doing research on this property thinks he's buying a property that was reduced $300,000 in the MLS when it was really reduced $150,000 from the original list price. Does this sound confusing? It does. Imagine how confusing all this must be for home buyers in this arena and the home sellers who rely upon this data to make informed decision about price and value. Case history number 3 gives us the double data demolition blueprint, and this one's a doozy. Now we're getting into advanced MLS data sabotage with 2 manipulated listings for a single property. The first listing expires, but not before the data is savaged. It was on the market 914 days on its first run with the Jills. Let's take a closer look at the folio number here. We can see clearly the Jills are applying their fake folio and area formula here. In fact, they used the same fake folio number on many of the listings they altered in this massive data scheme. The correct folio number is changed to this number, and if you look at a property history sheet, you will see clear examples of this formula with lots of properties that share the same folio number. There are dozens of them. Each property should have its own folio number tying it to the tax records. You will see here all of these properties share a common folio number, and all are assigned to the same Coldwell banker office and members of the Jills team. The second expired listing in this example got the fake folio treatment also, with possibly even more shenanigans, including a notation in the remarks that the property was once Franklin Delano Roosevelt's Winter White House. Now, there's no mention of this residence at FDR Library Archives or other compilations of presidential retreats and vacation homes. This property was on the market 210 days this time. And it looks like the press gets an exclusive scoop about the sale. This closing was reported publicly by the press a day before the sale was reported to the multiple listing service. Total time on the market is 1,124 days. Industry regulators do not want to see data like this skewed. Altered data does not serve the public interest. Home buyers and sellers should be very thorough and ask for a complete history of every property. What's an agent to do when market data is skewed to this extent? Presumably, they look to the MLS for governance and enforcement. That leaves us with big questions in Miami. If indeed the Miami Multiple Listing Service was aware of a 5-year pattern of abuse by a single team, why didn't they take action and enforce their own rules? Are the Jills too big to fail? And if the Miami Multiple Listing Service has been aware of hundreds of millions of dollars of properties in this data scheme since the early days of the first quarter of 2015, why didn't they ever fix it? And why is that data still corrupted? This is the data their members rely upon to do their jobs. This is the data appraisers rely upon, that home buyers and sellers rely upon. This video was presented by Real Estate Risk Management, a Facebook group for real estate professionals. If you want to see previous videos in this series, go to newsdn.org/scandal. You can sign up there for updates and breaking news about Miami Real Estate Datagate.